Many communities in our state are fortunate to have iconic landmarks, instantly recognizable to locals and tourists alike. The historic courthouse in one western North Carolina county has proudly stood its ground for over 100 years. But as David Huppert reports, its future was nearly demolished.
When people think of Henderson County, they typically think of the courthouse with the gold dome, and they use it as a reference point for downtown. In 1995, this building was condemned. It was an eyesore, it was falling apart, it was deemed hazardous to inhabit. So they built the other courthouse, which is 2 blocks away on Grove Street, known as the 1995 courthouse. And from 1995 until 2008, this building sat vacant.
The Henderson County Board of Commissioners had to weigh a very difficult decision. Should they replace the old building with a new parking garage? Or should they spend $11 million to repair and restore the crumbling courthouse? The debate lasted for nearly a decade, with one side arguing for fiscal fiduciary and the other for cultural conservation.
Literally, there was chicken wire holding the columns together outside. And I'm from the South, and I can do a lot of things with chicken wire and duct tape. But this building required a little bit more than that. When I came, those things were stacked up.
County Manager Steve Wyatt remembers the first time he walked through the vacant courthouse.
It was a cold, rainy day in March. The second day I was on the job, I walked up the hill. We were about a block away. And I'll be frank with you, it was raining outside and inside the building. And I started to go back into the building, but I was afraid a bat would come down. It was really a sobering time. I thought, oh my.
After years of debate, the county commissioners voted by a 3-2 majority to restore and repair the historic courthouse. The vote allowed the city to maintain its most well-known landmark. 100 years after its original construction, crews began the preservation process. Since the county already had a new courthouse, the planning committee decided to repurpose the old building into a home for 5 county government departments, as well as the Henderson County Heritage Museum.
This room was originally the courtroom when the building still served as a courthouse from 1905 to 1995. Now it's the Board of Commissioners meeting room. So it's where our county commissioners hold all their meetings, and also other boards such as the school board and the Board of Education meet here.
Renovations began in 2005, and the architects quickly discovered many previously unknown areas of the building, including a false ceiling and balcony in the courtroom.
The balcony was where during Jim Crow segregation they actually had the blacks sit because they didn't feel that the blacks were entitled enough to sit below, and they put in the false ceiling so they couldn't actually see the proceedings, they could only hear them.
Windows off the right side of the courtroom used to offer views of the gallows, where spectators would watch executions occur. In 1926, a jail was built right beside the courtroom, and inmates allegedly discovered they could disrupt proceedings by exposing themselves to the court.
They initially boarded up the jail windows. Well, there were sunshine laws, meaning that the prisoners were entitled to so much sunshine. So they had to take down the boards in the old jail, and they originally boarded up the windows that are over here. The window panes and the framing around there are exact replicas, but it isn't original because when you put wood on wood, it rots.
The architects wanted this building to look exactly like the one that was constructed in 1905. They conserved as many original details as possible, including this chestnut wood banister.
When we did the renovation and restoration, and the architect and the builders decided to knock down the wall that was there, they thought that they were going to find an exterior wall, but we found this room. And the interesting thing about it is it doesn't show up on any of our blueprints. So we've had a lot of people hypothesizing what this room was used for, but we actually have no idea what it was.
They decided to keep the room exactly as it was, showing visitors the various stages and materials used throughout the building's 100-year history.
Maybe this was an inmate holding cell because the jail would have been on the other side of this wall, so maybe thinking that bunks came out of it. Some people might think it'd been a torture room. We've really heard everything.
3, 2, 1.
In 2008, just 3 years after renovations began, the county rededicated the historic courthouse. Even though the building houses working government offices, tour groups consistently line up to walk the grounds and learn about Henderson County history.
Henderson County was formed by an act of the state legislature on December 15th, 1838. The very first Courthouse was right here, built in 1844 for $8,000. This building was built for, guess how much money? 1905, this whole building. $33,700. So now let's go inside and talk about the renovation.
Tours of the historic courthouse are free, as is admittance to the 5-room Henderson County Heritage Museum.
That's on that side of the building.
The 2,000-square-foot museum highlights Henderson County's legacy with displays honoring the county's role in wartime. Come to work with a smile on your face?
Oh, absolutely, every day.
Another room in the museum is compliments of the Shepherd family, owners of the original Shepherd General Store.
A gentleman from Atlanta walked into the room, saw the name Shepherd all over the room, and looked up there at the picture, and he said, "I have that cash register." He said he had bought it on eBay. We don't know from whom, we don't know how much. He went back to Atlanta, totally refurbished the cash register, and loaned it back to us.
In January of 2009, the Henderson County Historic Courthouse received the North Carolina Main Street Center Award for Best Public Building Improvements.
The real reward is the feedback we get from the citizens. This building's not my building. It belongs to the people of Henderson County. It's the people's house. That's the nickname for the building. It's their building, it's their courthouse, it's their government. We're just stewards. We're here to leave it a little better than we found it.
For more information about the historic courthouse and museum, you can visit hendersoncountymuseum.com. We also have a link on our website at unctv.org/ncnow.